talk about Indiana Jones and the Shrine of the Sea Devil. This was written and penciled by Gary Gianni, colors by Alex Wald, and letters by Bill Spicer. So, this is a weird one, mainly because of how this came to be. This is a mini-series. It's a series of, serialized shorts. They're all connected. This is in the Dark Horse Comics. Kind of like a precursor, I guess, to Dark Horse Presents, or it could be the same thing and they just called it Dark Horse Comics at the time. But it was basically in a comic that had a bunch of other short stories from different properties. So, eventually this was later it was collected in a trade paperback, and then once again in the Indiana Jones Omnibus Volume 2. This story takes place January of 1935, so before Temple of Doom, but just barely. And in it, Indiana Jones goes on a deep-sea dive to find Easter Island statues, basically, that are underwater, which is weird. Meanwhile, the crew of the ship that he's hired mutiny, and then they're all attacked by, a giant squid. So yes, this is Indiana Jones versus a giant squid. That's it. That's pretty much the entire comic. And then he's saved by someone, and it feels like an episode of the Young Indiana Jones TV series. And I won't spoil what that is, who that is. But once again, we have another Indy loses his hat. Indy loses, everything in this. He barely gets out of this scrape. But there's not a lot to this one, but I absolutely loved it. It's one of those reads where you just read it in one sitting. It's so short. Might as well be the size of one of those Dark Horse Digest size comics. The adventure ones. They did some for Indiana Jones, but they mostly did them for Star Wars or Gigi Chertovsky's Star Wars Clone Wars Adventures, that sort of thing. It might as well be one of those. Though the art in this is pretty good, considering that it's drawn and written by the same person. It just feels a little more personal. Still, it's a fine story. I liked it. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's worth your time. Give it a solid 4 out of 5. Worth it to check out. It's pretty good.